Hello, and welcome to the second panel of the night, Streaming Wars. We are so excited to talk about one of our favorite things, television. Before we get started, though, I'm going to talk about one of my other favorite things, charity. I'm going to cough now. We are collecting money for Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. I think we all know and have somebody that we love who has type 1 diabetes. And so we want to just raise some money to try to help combat that and get some money to the right people so that they can do their science things to do it. That's what they call it, science things. You can donate below at givebetter.com/UtahRemoteCon2. And we're doing really awesome. Thank you so much for everyone who's donated. Keep on donating. Like I said last panel, we keep having repeat winners, so stop them. Win the stuff. You win the stuff instead of them. And this giveaway item is actually I'm really excited about. It is a little pouch that says "Ew, David," and you should know what TV show that's from. We'll probably talk about it, because it's fantastic and everyone should watch it. And then a bunch of little stickers from that same TV show. I'm not allowed to swear, but it is the name of the show. It's Schitt's Creek. So yes, win that tonight. Keep donating. You guys have been awesome. And now I'm going to add in the rest of our panelists. First, we have Blake and Little Henry.
Hello.
We have Collin.
Hello.
Marlee.
Hi.
Erika.
Hi.
I'm going to give you guys each a second to introduce yourselves. I'm Steph. I'm from the podcast Cutscenes and Cupcakes. We've been podcasting for about 2.5 years now, which is super awesome. I podcast with Marlee. I did that on the first try. Blake, if you want to introduce yourself.
I'm Blake. I am on the Let Us In podcast with Erika. She's the okayest GM anybody could ever ask for. And she's awesome. And we do TTRPG podcast stuff. I'll let Erika talk more about it.
Yeah, I'll turn over to Erika.
Okay, you guys can hear me, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
What?
sweet.
What?
Blake up.
Technically, I didn't swear. I'm Erika.
Technically.
I accidentally kicked my cat. I'm so sorry.
I
Oh,
don't think
buddy.
you're supposed to do that.
Karma.
I'm Erika, and I run the Let Us In, which is a system-changing TTRPG podcast. We start our second season here soon, and that comes out on June 4th.
Nice. Marmar.
Hi, I'm Marlee. Like Steph said, I'm part of the Cutscenes and Cupcakes podcast. I'm also part of the Stolen Droids podcast with Collin.
Hey, I'll come full circle.
You know, there's a lot of crossovers, and tonight I am repping my Lost t-shirt because it's one of my all-time favorite shows to stream.
Collin.
I'm Collin, one of the co-hosts of the Stolen Droids podcast, and this is Jet. His mom's
Jet.
getting his hair done tonight, so he's chilling with me on the panel.
Nice.
Say hi.
I forgot to mention that I'm repping my Appa hoodie.
Aw, I love
Yep.
Appa.
I don't know what direction to go so people can see it.
Appa's so
Yep.
legit.
Yep.
Yep.
That show. So that's why we're here to talk about TV. And I guess some movies, but let's be real. It's mostly about the TV. So let's name off some of the big streaming services. We can name off all the streaming services, but let's name them all. So someone start us off by throwing them out there.
We got the
Netflix.
Disney Plus,
Hulu.
Hulu, Amazon Prime.
Paramount,
Yeah, there's so many. Discovery has one now.
Apple
Peacock.
Apple TV. I've forgotten about Apple TV about 100 times today.
Yeah, me too. I feel like it's the forgettable of the bunch.
Yeah, and Paramount has one too, apparently, with a bunch of old TV shows
Yeah.
or old movies.
And TV
Huh.
shows.
And Blake and I have talked about this a little bit. Do we consider YouTube and Twitch?
No.
No,
No.
it's a different type of streaming.
They're more like individual content creators.
But I feel like YouTube, when they had like YouTube Red and YouTube Premium. Like Rhett and Link had like Buddy System.
Yeah.
That was like a movie. I don't know.
Like
I feel like
it
YouTube
didn't-
is better
But
than
it
Twitch.
didn't last.
Yeah.
Like the TV shows and everything didn't last, so it's kind of like a dead thing now.
I know. I'm actually really sad because Vsauce had a show on it, and that didn't last. But I wish it would have had 100,000 episodes.
Yeah.
'Cause
Well,
really
and
liked Vsauce.
And I definitely think like the paid services part of it, like a subscription, is also like an indicator. So like Twitch, I mean, it's free. So I would say it's not.
Well, it's free and it isn't free. Like if you want to be seen by the big, you know, you wouldn't call them Twitchers, right?
Twitchers.
the big Twitchers. I laugh because I have Tourette's and I twitch all the time, and so I could be considered a Twitcher.
You also stream, so you
okay.
could also be considered a Twitcher.
I mean, I've streamed a whole lot of 2 times.
That's so many times.
I can count them on both my hands. It's great.
Oh, yeah. I told him it didn't count, but since YouTube, I asked him what his favorite service was, and he said YouTube, and then he said Twitch. I thought I'd bring it up.
Why would you think it would count, Blake?
Give me a reason.
I think because it's the way I consume content and entertainment the most.
Okay.
Right. So like I definitely watch those platforms more than the other platforms that were mentioned that are more traditional streaming services.
Would you kind of merge that with something like YouTube, where they would be kind of on the same level?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I could see that.
I do think it is part. I think that like YouTube and Twitch are getting a lot more popular than they were a little while ago, like in the past. I think YouTube is becoming more mainstream. So, but anyways, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about. We're good. So we came up with some of our favorite streaming services. We also decided because of one of our favorite TV shows, except Blake, The Circle, that just had its second season.
What do you got? What do you got against The Circle, Blake?
So good.
Everything. It's garbage television.
No, it's
it is not
fantastic.
Okay, but no. Have you
Chewie
actually
is
seen
the
it?
Man.
Yes,
Have you-
I've watched
Have
all
you
of it.
watched?
I think
You're in the
that's
minority here.
one of the
'Cause
best.
I hate
Oh, don't
reality
worry. I'm
TV.
well aware I'm in the minority here.
Yes, it's garbage TV.
I hate reality TV. Like I really don't like it. But this show is so different and good. I love it.
Are you
Okay,
putting that up there,
Jason.
Yeah,
Steph?
Jason doesn't agree
Thank
with
you.
you.
Okay, Jason, I take it back.
So we decided to rate our favorites
Wait a minute.
circle style.
Yeah, Jason agrees with me.
Oh,
Okay.
That was about YouTube.
Oh.
Wow.
This is right.
Wow, taking things out of context here.
Oh no.
Good heavens.
That's
Let's
something
start off
someone would.
with talking about
Yeah.
Netflix. Because I feel like Netflix is kind of the OG streaming service. Not
Yeah.
the OG,
Yeah.
but one of the bigger ones to get big.
I mean,
My
it
lights are
is.
flickering.
Go
We remember
skip the
back when you
salt,
would-
Erica.
I have salt. I'm fine.
We remember
Speaking
when
of
the DVDs came in the mail.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
old people.
Oh, yeah.
You
It's
could rent
true.
video games.
Mhm.
That was great.
You know, I remember one of the very first things I ever watched on Netflix was Dr. Horrible Sing-Along Blog.
That's
Like I
right.
have a weird memory of it. I was in Stephanie's basement and you and me and our friend Jefferson sat on your couch and watched it. Jeff had already seen it and he was just like going off about it. And we logged into his Netflix account because me and Steph didn't have Netflix,
No.
you know? And so it was, I have a distinct memory about that.
Well, that was such a good show with Neil Patrick Harris and Nathan Fillion.
My boy.
Yeah.
Good old Nathan.
So Netflix starts. I was just gonna talk about the cost of Netflix goes from $8.99 to $17.99. So
What's the difference?
the more you pay, the more screens can play at one time.
Mhm.
And then
Oh.
the more you pay, you can get it in HD.
I had no
Which-
idea.
I can't
It's
tell the
really
difference
nice.
between normal D and HD. So it would
That-
not make a
Oh,
difference
dear.
to me.
That
Yeah,
bodes
that
well
would
Just
for
say
me.
normal D.
That would drive me crazy. The normal D and the
D.
Oh my
This
goodness.
is
gosh.
PG, Erica. This is PG.
Well, what's nice too is like, so my cell phone carrier is T-Mobile, and they just include it as part of their service.
Yeah.
You can like pay like $1 additional just to get the HD portion of it, but like, it's great. I don't have to pay for that service really.
Yeah, I definitely taken advantage of that, or should I say taken advantage of my parents, because I have like a big family plan still with T-Mobile, like because it's just such a fantastic deal, and there's no way I'm going to go off and do my own cell phone plan ever. And so they have Netflix. My parents don't even watch Netflix. It's all me, but I don't have to pay anything for it.
Yeah, my brother-in-law pays for Netflix, I think.
I think there's maybe like 9 Netflix accounts across the world.
And we all just
That's
share.
And we all
Sounds
just are
about
sharing the
right.
same one.
You know, I don't see a problem with it because it's a smart way to go.
And they're
It's
not
cost
hurting.
effective.
Netflix
Yeah.
isn't hurting.
I don't know, but
No.
but then do you put it up there with piracy because you're not paying for the rights to watch that?
No,
content,
but somebody
you're
else
not
is.
supporting, but you're
We
also
just
not
don't-
supporting the content.
But we
That's
just don't
true.
necessarily live in the same household.
We're
We're still paying for the multiple screens that are allowed per account, but
Yeah.
we just don't happen to live in the same household.
Marlee,
still
piracy is
watching
not a
paid
victimless
content.
crime.
What's some of our favorite original content? That's
Okay.
On Netflix?
on Netflix.
Okay.
I've made a list.
Oh, Marlee came prepared, which is very on point for Marlee.
Thank you. Thank you. It's even
Can
color
Marlee start us
coded.
off then?
I think I don't think
It's
I did
color
original
coded.
content, but I think
Okay,
it's just shows.
So okay, I did both, and that's why it's color coded.
Okay, good.
Because original content, some of my favorites. I mean, do you want me to just like speed list
Yeah.
them or okay?
Yeah,
And I'll give it a thumbs up or thumbs down if I agree.
yeah.
Okay.
I like
Stranger Things, The Crown, The Witcher, Umbrella Academy, Mindhunter,
Actually,
The
I haven't seen that.
Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. All of the Marvel shows like Daredevil, Punisher, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, those are all actually really
Steph,
highly rated.
you take that back right now.
that. No.
Yeah,
I
you're
I
not
haven't
allowed
watched
to do
very
that.
many of them. They're too violent.
Bloodline, You, Travelers, Sex Education, A Series of Unfortunate Events. And then I'm not quite sure. Okay, honestly, I was trying to figure out. I wasn't totally sure if these are Netflix originals, but I think is Bridgerton
Yes.
and
Yeah.
Queen's Gambit,
Yes.
Yeah, I think Queen's
And-
Gambit is.
Emily in Paris.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if Lucifer is.
No.
No.
Are you
Love
saying
It-
are you saying you enjoy all of these, or these are you're just naming the original content?
I've watched a lot. All of these ones that I've mentioned are ones that I've watched.
And you say
I
you
haven't even
enjoy.
got.
Like you're giving these a thumbs up.
Oh yeah, I love all these
Okay.
shows. Love is Blind, The Circle.
What hot? Too hot to handle.
Some of them that I haven't watched that are highly rated on IMDb are Ozark, Glow, Orange is the New Black,
So
Sense
good.
8, Grace and Frankie, The
So
OA, 13
OA
Reasons
is
Why,
so good.
House of
Sorry.
Cards, Santa Clarita Diet, Cobra
Okay.
Kai, and then lately Shadow and Bone is actually
Shadow and Bone
really
is really good.
I think Black Mirror is
Mhm.
yeah, there's
Is
so many
Shadow and-
more.
Does Shadow and Bone count as original content if it's from a book?
Because I think it was just because they originally produced it and
Yeah,
created
Netflix.
it.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah,
then would Boys not count or anything made off
or
of
Umbrella Academy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah, no, and there's so many more that I listed that I honestly wasn't quite sure if they were Netflix originals, but Netflix, I think, made them big and more because it was more available. For example, shows like Grey's Anatomy, all seasons are on there.
Yeah.
Breaking Bad, Supernatural.
All the DC
all of-
stuff up until
yeah.
HBO
Oh,
Max.
I think for me that gives a one
so
up
many.
on Hulu, Netflix on Hulu.
The original content.
No, well, the original content, but also that Netflix usually has a whole collection of TV shows together, where Hulu doesn't always have the whole collection, you know?
And
Yeah.
depending, so I was actually researching this specifically on Supernatural because that's what I've been binging right now.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, where else could I watch it? And you can watch all of Supernatural on Hulu, but you have to have a certain pay. So you have to pay for like Hulu Live to be able to watch it. So they have a lot more shows than we think. They're not
Have to pay
advertised to you because you have to pay more unless you're specifically searching for it. And then it's like, hey, you need to pay for this. And I'm like, dang it.
And live gets really expensive.
Yeah, already paying for no commercials is expensive enough.
Yeah.
I hate commercials.
And
That is
no
true.
commercials is very loose because certain shows that you watch.
Grey's
still
Anatomy is
require
one
them.
of those.
Yeah.
Because of the network it's on.
Yeah.
Probably.
So the ones that I'm currently watching on Hulu that do not have commercials, my HDMI likes to flicker, is Prodigal Son, Resident, Orville, What We Do in the Shadows, Staged, Zoe's Younger, and Rookie. And those are some of the big ones right now. And so
Okay.
those ones don't have them.
But let me tell you this, Erika. So Erica's recommended Prodigal Son to me, and I've been watching it. Season 1 is not on Hulu.
That is true. It's not.
Why? That's so dumb. Like,
I
why
think-
do I have to go to a completely different streaming service to watch one season and then switch to a different streaming service to watch
Yep.
the second season? So the first season's on HBO Max and second is on Hulu.
And still
Yeah.
paying more to do no commercials, where on Netflix, you don't have that.
Exactly. Yeah.
That is
So
very
that
true.
really bugged me when Lindsay told me, she's like, oh yeah, hey, only the second season's on here. I'm like, that's one of the stupidest things I've ever heard.
Yeah. I know.
Like,
I was so
split
confused.
season amongst different platforms. What's
No,
the point?
I do have to say, though, one really good thing about Hulu is that they do air like shows that are currently airing. They will also release episode by each week, whereas Netflix doesn't do that. Like for
By
ones that
season.
are currently airing. Yeah, because like Erika said, let's see, because I made a list. Like Good Girls, Grey's Anatomy, and Younger are all ones that I have been watching as they're airing, and I can watch the new episode on Hulu.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Whereas
That's
with Netflix, you'd have to wait until the whole season of Grey's Anatomy is over and then wait maybe a month or so before they put it on Netflix.
Mm-hmm. Then there's shows like Legion, where it took almost an entire year and a half to get season 3. I think it eventually came out on Hulu, but some of them take so freaking long, and I don't understand why, because they're so niche yet so good. It's like, why is it taking years for this content to come out on a platform people can actually watch it on? So that bugs me because I loved Legion.
It does make it more accessible, though, because you don't have to go to the sketchy websites to find the agreement, which I have done
Where you
plenty
download
of.
all the viruses.
Yes. Yeah,
Been
Collin
there,
probably
done
knows
that.
a lot about that.
Yeah, we've all done that.
Let's talk some of the original content on Hulu.
I have a list of that as well. You'd be
Handmaid's
surprised that there's not that many.
No, but I was
Um,
just thinking that there is Handmaid's
There's
Tale.
not that many.
Huge.
Handmaid's Tale. So again, I'm gonna list. I'm just gonna the ones I've watched, and then I'll list a couple that I have not watched. And again, these were all ones that were ranked high on IMDb. This is not obviously the full list of what's available. Okay, yes, Handmaid's Tale is a huge one. The Act. That was the one with oh my gosh, I just totally spaced her name. The Munchausen by proxy thing.
Oh,
with,
Gypsy Rose.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
And then Shrill, Harlots,
Oh yeah,
Harlots. I'm so sad they canceled Harlots.
The Path. That was a great show.
I'm so glad they canceled The Path.
You're glad?
No, I'm so sad.
The Great. That's the one about like Catherine the Great in Russia.
Yeah,
And I'm
was
so
okay.
excited for season 2.
Mhm.
Little Fires Everywhere.
Mhm.
Dollface. I started that one, but I could not get past a couple episodes. I
one
like
was Dollface?
Kat Dennings. Is that her name?
Oh, that's
I
right.
really like her a lot, but I just had a hard time getting into that show. But it was like good.
It's on my list.
Another
Haven't
couple
watched
of them that I haven't watched that are highly rated are Castle Rock. That's like the Alfred Hitchcock ones, I think.
Oh,
Pen 15,
Pen 15 is great.
Letterkenny, Catch 22, and Runaways.
Is Letterkenny original? Hulu
Maybe
original?
I thought it was.
I think it's Canadian-based television,
then maybe it's not a Hulu original, but
but it's huge right now.
yeah.
Sorry,
Definitely.
did I hear you say The Actor now?
Yes.
Yes, the act.
Okay, yeah, because The Act won some like pretty
One with Gypsy
pretty
Rose.
insane
Yeah,
awards.
That was a crazy show.
9-9 is an original to CBS, I think.
And then it went to Fox. Or was it
NBC.
Fox then? Or wait.
No, it was technically on both NBC and CBS. I don't remember which one came first.
Yeah, and then it did
I think
that.
NBC came last because they did more swears.
I don't think we've even gotten into any of like the documentaries that are on either of these.
Do we
services.
need to talk
I
about
don't watch
documentaries?
documentaries.
I don't either.
Tiger King.
Tiger King?
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
come
Tiger
on now.
King.
That's probably the
Oh.
only documentary I've ever seen.
Pandemic, huge hitter.
That
That's
one is
true.
on my list that I have in front of me. I
still
just
haven't
forgot to
watched
mention
that
it.
one?
Sorry.
Oh, okay.
That one I
Trust me,
still haven't
How to Make
watched
a
it.
Murderer?
We still can't get Jake to watch Tiger King.
I haven't watched it. I already know what happens. Everybody
It's so-
talks about it. You know, it's like
Yeah,
I know
but-
exactly what happened.
It's
no,
so
you
stupid,
don't,
but so
you
good.
don't, because it is so freaking
Weird.
fantastic.
Well, I'm a year too late, so oh well.
It doesn't matter if you're too late.
I'm gonna
You-
say that
you
about
just-
all the TV
You just
shows. you
finished
suggest.
Supernatural, and that was
No,
how
you
many
won't,
years
Steph.
ago?
We'll talk about Tiger King off air, okay? I don't want to start anything. Because I really don't care about Tiger King.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay.
There's so much freaking content. That's the thing, is you can't ever finish up all the content that's on any of these services.
That's me and Marlee's literal challenge in life. Like, we want to watch all the things.
Oh, Jason.
I know. I feel like out of the most of my friends, I talk about TV the most with Stephanie. Because we have very, very similar taste in shows. And so a lot of times I'll be like, I know exactly who I can talk to about like the latest episode or whatever, because I know Steph has seen it. Or I'll be like, hey, did you ever watch this one show? And she'll be like, yeah, it was good. It was okay or something, you know, and it's just kind of funny how we can, I mean, we have so much TV we can talk about, and especially more lately, you know, just passing on recommendations to Erika.
Oh yeah.
And she's passing some on to me. Like
I
right now,
know
I've been watching
Hulu's-
Prodigal Son.
Hulu is starting to do weekly releases of their original content, to my chagrin. Has Netflix started doing that?
They
Doing
did
what?
it with The Circle.
They did do it with The Circle. I forgot about that.
But
They did
as
do
for their
what?
other
Oh.
shows,
Weekly releases.
it's
Oh, gotcha,
mostly by
gotcha.
season. I think it's like a contractual thing.
Because that's like a huge thing. Binge watching.
Well, I didn't
we've all
think
done
we
it.
would get that with Netflix. I thought Netflix would just continue the here's the dropping
season.
of the whole season, and wouldn't go down the same path that Disney Plus has. But it looks like Disney Plus is just kind of setting the standard now, which used to be Netflix was the standard, but now big boy Disney is coming in and kind of taking that.
Well, and especially with like cable TV not being as big as it is anymore, you know, I think these streaming services think, oh yeah, we can keep people interested by doing this week by week release kind of thing as well. And
It's 'cause
Netflix is
people-
like, well, everyone else can do it, we can do it.
It's because it's what keeps people there. Like if you like wait entire seasons to put out shows, people lose interest really quickly because they're like, I want to binge this. I want to, have my weekly fill. And if it's not, a lot of people lose interest really quickly. And that's why I kind of lost interest, I think, with, I don't remember what it was. I think it was actually Grey's Anatomy or something like that, because I didn't have Hulu at the time. And I just lost interest, and I honestly still haven't caught up yet, even though I have Hulu now.
That's a good way to segue into Disney Plus and the pros and cons of Disney Plus.
What cons are there?
It's new, so there's not as much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I don't know.
expensive.
Like, you've got the Disney Vault. Is
Yeah.
$60 a year expensive though?
I say it's expensive because they
it's
do
$80 a year.
I say it's expensive
raised
because
it?
they do the whole Mulan and
Oh,
Raya.
the
And
Well,
premier access.
In
nobody
their
else is doing that.
in their defense, no, HBO technically is, because in their defense, movie theaters are not a thing right now. And so they have these movies that they want to have come out. That's going to be the best way to do it. And if
Yep.
they put it out on just a regular platform, like a regular movie from the vault, they're going to make little to no money to be able to get the funds back from that
The
movie.
releases. The
And so
box
they have
office.
to do stuff like that to
I mean, does
Make
Disney, like, if they lose $30 from families, that's really going to hurt them?
it depends on how many families.
I mean, you could say the same thing. Netflix has original content, original
Yeah.
movies.
But
They
it's
don't
They
do
aren't
that.
charging us
but
for
those
that.
movies aren't big enough for theatrical releases.
Yeah.
I
Typically.
don't know if that's necessarily true.
That
They
depends on
weren't
the
really
movie.
made for that.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of them are kind of like slightly better quality than your Hallmark specials.
I think it depends on the movie, but I definitely think like these original, and I mean, if we're going to be talking about original movies instead of TV, like we said we were, but I still think that they are a lot higher quality than we give them credit for.
That's true, they are.
They could do theatrical releases if they wanted to, but they don't because it's a streaming service.
Yeah.
You know, whereas
You
Disney.
think the production quality of like Daredevil is less than Mulan?
Well, that's a
No.
comparison
Well,
between a TV show, which isn't
Yeah.
really fair.
I mean,
Because
Netflix
they
could
get-
break it up into
It's
7 different
also-
movies, put it up there.
It's also Marvel Disney backed.
Yeah.
That is
That's
true.
true.
That's
So-
the thing.
so what you're
Marvel,
saying is-
yeah.
What you're saying is Disney has lots of money and they shouldn't feel bad about, I don't know, just
Yeah.
giving us a movie.
Yeah, probably not, but
But at the same time, though, I think we're going to see it, especially after this year. I think we got to get through 2021, and then next year they're not going to. I don't think we're going to see that premiere access on Disney.
I mean-
I don't
Plus
think so
for
either.
movies.
HBO didn't do that with Godzilla. They didn't do it with Mortal Kombat. They didn't do it with the
Well,
Snyder
and
Cut.
there was
They made
actually
them limited. It's a limited release though, so you
I'm
can only
down
watch
if
it
Disney wants to make it a limited thing. Cool, let's do
that's because not as many people would have went in and actually paid for those specific movies, though.
Okay.
that. Probably.
well,
I think it's funny. It's all
Like,
coming down to preference.
I'm not going to pay $30 to watch the Snyder Cut.
I haven't paid $30
well,
to watch
that
any
and they're-
Disney.
they're-
We paid
Disney.
$30 to watch Raya.
I have not seen Raya all the way
I
through.
haven't either.
You need to, guys. It's so good.
It's so good.
There
Blake
was
has.
I've seen Raya like 15 times.
Well,
Didn't you love it?
I mean, it was good the first time,
Okay, yeah,
Uh-huh.
that's
but
fair.
my 4-year-old makes me watch it like 12 times a day. So
and
Yeah, the Stolen Droids podcast did an episode all about Raya and the Last Dragon, and we just were gushing about it the whole time.
Well, then I guess I
was
should
so
watch
fun.
it. But
Oh,
there
you
was I think a podcast or YouTube video that I watched that talked about HBO and their riskiness to not do what Disney did. And there's a lot of concern that they are going to continually lose money because the streaming service is, your monthly thing and people probably get it for a month, something like that. But it's not going to equal what they need to, because if a movie doesn't make up what they cost, if not more, that kills their numbers and their ability to even make more movies. So that's a really risky thing that HBO is doing right now. So I'm interested to see if the worries are going to be legit or not,
I also think
and see if it captures people's attentions to where they will continually purchase every month.
I also think it's interesting because I don't think Mortal Kombat, Snyder Cut, Godzilla was made by HBO.
Yeah,
That
right?
is true.
Mm-mm.
But
Disney did make Raya. Disney did make Mulan. So they're able to say, on our service, you do this to get this content.
Mm-hmm.
And people are doing it. So
yeah, which is risky for HBO to tie themselves to those companies.
I would assume, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I would assume HBO paid those movie
they're
developers.
paying licensing to be able to get those.
Yeah. And
so
so
they're
those,
just hoping to up their subscriptions. But
so I would say those movie companies aren't going to be hurt. It's HBO that's going to get hurt.
HBO is going to get hurt the most.
Making their money back regardless.
Well, and as soon as things are more back to normal and movies are strictly in theaters again, HBO Max I don't think has a real leg to stand on.
Yeah,
they have all of Sesame Street.
Well, and especially
all of Sesame Street,
can...
they do have Lord of the Rings.
Oh,
and they have a lot of the like
Batman
animated series stuff.
Lord of the Rings, come on, be a fan. I'm pointing to my 4K extended edition.
Oh my goodness. Well, and you also have to like think about too, like HBO Max and even like some of the other really all the services, they all have like a trial time. So I mean, a free trial. And so if I really wanted to go on and watch Snyder Cut and I didn't have the HBO Max subscription, I'm not going to buy the subscription. I'm just going to get the free trial and then watch the movie and then cancel my subscription. So there, HBO didn't make any money off of me.
I pretty much did that for like all of Game of Thrones. I used like 8 different email accounts.
I do think that HBO is lacking in original television.
Yeah.
It definitely doesn't have the same as other people. They're who you want to go to for movies, but
they're not very well known either. Like I feel like they're just not like you just don't hear about them. Like even just like with talking with your friends and even just people like on, I don't know, you guys talk to people on the internet, but like whoever, I don't know who else I talk to, but you just don't hear a lot about those other shows. Like I've been on HBO Max lately because I've been watching Prodigal Son there, and I look at the originals and things they're suggesting to me, and I'm like, what is this? I've never even heard of this.
I'm not technically sure if these are, I think these are HBO originals, but like Doom Patrol
is,
and Titans are, oh my gosh, I'm going to knock everything over, are really, really good and worth at least a free trial for HBO. They are really good. I don't pay
they're worth
for
at
HBO.
least a fake email.
Yeah. They're like to
really
at least make sure it's a thing.
Search Party.
Yeah.
They have a lot of old TV shows that you can't find other places.
And speaking of docuseries, I originally got access to HBO Max from a friend because of a specific series that I wanted to watch, and it was called The Vow, which is about the cult NXIVM. And so, like, in order to watch that specific docuseries, I had to go to HBO Max.
Yeah.
But I just still have access to it because it's still logged in on my PlayStation.
So, Steph, I don't know if you saw this, but Keith asked a really good question. So, do you still buy the movies either digitally or physically, or do you wait for them to come to a streaming service? I.e., would you buy Raya?
Raya.
Raya.
I honestly think DVDs are going obsolete and Blu-rays.
Yeah, the only ones that I actually will buy is Lord of the Rings.
I used to be one of those people on Black Friday going to Target, going to Walmart, Best Buy, and getting my TV series, like the next season or whatever one I needed at the time, because they would only be like 10 or 15 bucks a piece. Yeah. And so I would stock up. I seriously did that for, I don't even know how many years straight, but I haven't done that in probably the last like 4 or 5 years, because all of my TV that I could ever need, I just can stream now.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like just, buying DVDs. So for example, I have like all of the seasons of Big Bang Theory on my shelf over here. And if I'm going to go and sit down and watch it, like binge watch a TV series, like especially one I've seen before, I'm not going to pop in the DVDs.
Yeah,
I'm going to go
the option. You don't have to get up.
Exactly.
Mhm. Well, and then it sucks too if a TV show is suddenly taken off. Kind of like The Office. People are like, well, where am I going to go to binge watch it? Eventually it came up somewhere else to watch it.
Peacock.
But like, yeah. Peacock.
Peacock. The only good things about it, The Office and Friends.
No, just The Office.
Where did Parks and Rec go?
Exactly.
Isn't that still on Netflix?
I don't know.
No, it's not.
I don't think so.
I don't think it is. I looked for it the other day.
It's weird.
Yeah,
Yep,
some of my favorite shows that I had originally watched on Netflix are no longer there, such as Friends, How I Met Your Mother, The Office, Parks and Rec, One Tree Hill, and Lost. So you can't we talked off air about rewatching some of our favorite series, and I've gone back to all of those shows multiple times. And I can't go to Netflix anymore to do that. I have to go find where it went.
Yeah.
Let me tell you the science behind going back to TV shows. It's a coping mechanism technically, because when you continually go back to the same series, it's because you know exactly what's going to happen. You know that this is your comedy, this is your thing. So it's a coping mechanism for comfort, which I thought was brilliant.
I also do it. I love that. And I definitely think that's true. But like, at least for me, I also, because I love a good story. Like, I just love consuming stories and learning about characters and getting to know people. And so for me, after watching a whole series and knowing what happens and watching that progression, I will go back to a show already knowing what happened and be like, okay, now that I know how it ends, I really want to go back and watch and pay better attention to how some of the characters make their decisions, what happens to them. I like being able to see that progression again with new eyes.
And sometimes I do that and I actually get frustrated because I find continuity errors. And I get really upset that sometimes I'm like, okay, I can't, like, I've started to not rewatch shows or be careful with my binging because I will latch onto those continuity errors and it will bug the crap out of me.
I know. Speaking of Grey's Anatomy, thanks for sharing that, Facebook user. It is a good comfort show. Was that you, Steph? Was that you who put that?
Collin, did you have something to add?
Oh yeah, I ended up having to buy the TV show Chuck in DVD form because they took it off Netflix. Now I think it's on Amazon Prime, but for a period of time it was just gone. And I was like, all right, if I don't get it now, then I should just get it now because it could disappear.
There's some shows like that are
true.
worth it, like Chuck, and we just ignored the last episode.
Yeah, and like there are other movies that I've purchased digitally too, just because they're not on streaming services. Right, like Spider-Man, for instance.
Yeah.
They don't have the rights yet. I think they've finally worked out a licensing deal to where they can bring it on Disney Plus, but
now we just wait.
Yeah, like those kind of movies I've gone through and purchased just because I'm gonna watch it a couple times, so why not?
This made me laugh.
Me too.
Hey, there are so many great things about Breaking Bad. Okay, that can be a coping mechanism. I actually I love that show so much.
I actually couldn't get into it. I think there was just something about it that just it didn't spark for me, and I was really upset that I didn't like it. That I thought something was wrong with me because everybody was like, "This is the best show ever," and I was like,
"Oh, you guys!"
I tried really hard.
We need
I'll do it again.
We need to have like a remote con after dark and talk all about the nitty gritty Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul because that is fantastic TV.
Blake tried to get me into Breaking Bad, and when we were dating, and I just made out with him because I didn't want to watch it.
That's terrible.
Blake's like,
Blake wasn't complaining.
Great.
Oh, you guys.
We should watch Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad is seriously some of the best TV out there ever made.
Prime. What are our thoughts on Amazon Prime?
I have some.
I mean, it's a great service when you want to order something.
Oh my god!
And you get that 3-day shipping. It's really convenient.
I mean, it's part of my subscription So yeah, I watch things there.
But
I
you
watched
can't
all
watch
of Suits
everything.
there.
Yeah, which bugs the crap out of me. That is why I don't like Amazon Prime as much or Amazon Prime Video, because when you go on it, you're like, oh, I want to watch this specific movie. It's like, I'm already paying for this. Why do I have to pay more for almost literally everything? Not like
But
just
Erika,
like a random movie.
what about
but
the production companies? They need to make money.
Okay, that's because of like one movie, one thing. These are movies or TV shows that have been out for a really long time. And
it's not like a new release. Is what
yeah,
you
it's
mean?
not. Yeah, it's not a new release. And there's just, and then like randomly, you can't watch certain TV shows on your phone. You have to watch them on a desktop, because you go and do them on your phone. Like, oh, your device, like this isn't. You can't watch it here, and it's like, why can't I watch it? It's like this is required for desktop, and I'm like, what?
That's really weird.
F is this?
But it did bring us shows like The Boys.
Yay!
It's on my list. I
Yep.
promise I will watch it.
And Marvelous Miss Maisel.
I did love Miss
that
Maisel.
one.
There are some really good ones on there, but
Those
I just
are the
kept
only two I
getting
can think of.
irritated.
I don't
Ryan.
really.
What about the new
Jack Ryan.
What about the new Lord of the Rings series?
Oh, I'll totally be
Do
watching
you
that.
have hype for that, Erika? Does that
I
interest
actually have really low expectations
you? Okay.
because I have a lot of feelings about
Because
this,
of
so
The
I will
Hobbit?
just keep this. No, I actually loved The Hobbit. So
Zing.
I actually loved The Hobbit, so that didn't hurt me. Because
Man.
okay, so the reason behind The Hobbit was because Peter Jackson didn't have as much control with everything as he did with Lord of the Rings. There was a lot of stuff behind the scenes with the production, the companies that owned all of this stuff that really limited him, and that's why they weren't as great. And so that's why I still love them, because they're just great. Anyways, so I have low expectations for the Lord of the Rings show, because I am afraid that they're going to go the Game of Thrones route. It's going to go really well for a first couple of seasons, and then it's going to crap its pants. And I am afraid that it is also going to continue the HBO, or not HBO.
Hobbit Teen.
That's what I don't want, is because you can have fantastic TV without explicit sex. And that's what I love so much about like Lord of the Rings and other things. It didn't have any of that, and it was a great story. And so I'm afraid that they're gonna be like, so this is gonna be similar to Game of Thrones, and it's gonna be like boobs for the entire, first 3 seasons. I'm gonna stop now.
Oh, and then the last one we kind of talked about was Apple Plus, and I have nothing to add from
Apple TV.
Oh, whatever.
It has had some
Apple TV
huge
Plus, if you want to
One-
get all.
huge.
I know
everything.
only one show from there, and I probably would have never been able to watch it unless I had a friend who, I'm not going to name any names, was able to download it and watch it, and that is Ted Lasso. Oh my
I've heard
gosh,
that
you
was
guys.
amazing.
That
I've heard
show
good
is
things
so
about that,
good. So good. I wish it was not an Apple TV exclusive, because everyone needs to be able to see that show without having to pay for all these stupid services. Apple.
I really tried to watch some of the first bit of content that came on and just couldn't stick with it. Like, I was really excited to see something with Steve Carell, and then my hopes and dreams were ripped apart because the show was terrible.
Oh,
What show was that?
I'm trying to remember what it was called.
Oh.
It's the one with Jennifer Aniston. And she's like a reporter or something like that.
It's sparking some recognition.
I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
But I've heard a lot of good things about the movie Tom Holland recently
Cherry.
did, Cherry. I haven't seen it yet, but
I've
I've heard really good things. So maybe there's hope. I don't know.
They've got a lot of A-list and seriously amazing things that are going to happen to Apple Plus, but I'm just like, it's another thing that I have to buy, and I'm not sure if it's worth it yet because it's still so new. Because it's possible we have all of these A-list and the Russo brothers, and it'll last a year or two, and then it just kind of falls downhill after the pandemic because they can actually release their movies in theaters.
Yeah, I don't know if big names are really the draw in for a lot of people anymore.
It's quality content.
Yeah,
But-
and availability, convenience.
But if it is the Russo brothers, I am interested.
Well, and I think that's like a
They make
really
Marvel movies.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah. I think that's another really good point too. Like, just like with convenience too, is I think that's the thing with like, especially those top ones that we talked a lot about earlier, Netflix and Hulu, is that because they, there's just so many more shows on there. And so it's just like, well, some people don't need to have multiple streaming services. They are just fine with just one because there is so much content on there that they would totally be fine with just the one. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so it's just like, it's almost with like Apple Plus or Apple TV and even like HBO Max. Like I would just get like, I'd get bored after a while because I'm like, there's nothing new coming out and I've watched it all.
Yeah.
Well,
because there's only so many.
I think most of the people our age and are getting rid of their cable services.
Oh yeah,
they're so expensive. You
never even had it.
TVs. You're not finding the content you want, but then you start picking up Netflix and Hulu and HBO Plus and Amazon, and like we're sharing. I use Marlee's Hulu. She uses our something.
Audible.
Another topic.
Hey, we talked about audiobooks last week.
It kind of starts adding up to be the same as having cable. So I mean, but I think for us it's definitely been a better option. It is funny talking to like my parents and they're like, "Did you watch this basketball game?" And we're like, "We don't have cable, so no."
And they're like, "How do you live?"
Yeah.
Well.
Let me introduce you to
services.
Streaming.
And then you start talking to your mom about
amazing
Bridgerton
thing called YouTube TV.
That you should
well, and it's so funny too. I mentioned earlier that like my parents have this Netflix account and they don't even use it. But they do have Dish Network and they will record their shows, their programs, if you will.
They got
they don't call it that. I'm just making fun. But they record their shows and then they'll watch them later. And I just like, me and my sister will tell them about all these awesome shows that we're watching. And we even try to give them recommendations for ones that we think they can handle. And they just like, it's almost like it just goes in one ear and out the other because they're just not willing to sit down and try to figure out Netflix. Yeah. They're just like, I know how cable works and I'm just going to stick with that. And it's like, no, there's so much more out there.
There's so much more.
All right, read the ratings.
Yeah, I was going to say, are you guys ready to hear our circle ratings?
Yes. Circle. Show
I'd
us.
like to hear my final ratings. Are you going to go? Which order are you going to go? Are you gonna go bottom up?
Oh yeah,
bottom up. So I had them. The 6 ones we talked about were Netflix, Hulu, HBO Max, Disney Plus, Amazon Prime, and Apple TV Plus Bonanza.
I just call it Apple Plus.
And then I had them rate it, and then
them being us.
Yes, us 5. And so now I'm going to tell you who's going to be leaving our circle. And I don't think it's a big surprise. It's Apple TV.
Oh, shock!
I think it's just too new. Maybe if we do this in RemoteCon 3, it will be different.
I don't know.
I'm only sad because of Ted Lasso.
They've got a lot of road to make up for it, I think.
They should just move Ted Lasso over to Netflix. It's fine.
Yeah, they should buy. Yeah, Netflix, get on buying Ted Lasso,
please.
Yeah, forget
our number
that
5. Yeah, our number 5, Amazon Prime.
Oh,
yeah,
that one actually surprises me. Amazon. Yeah,
wow.
It's sad, but Marvelous Mrs. Maisel and the boys.
I did love that.
Again, those shows could easily move over to another service, and we wouldn't even think twice.
Yeah, I mean, you have Gilmore Girls on Netflix with Amy Sherman Palladino, so just move over Marvelous Maisel with Sherman.
There you go.
You know.
Yeah.
Talk to me. People don't help me enough.
We have great ideas.
Our number 4, HBO Max.
Oh, that's what I thought. I thought that one was 5th.
Our number 3, Hulu.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
And then what do you guys think is going to be our number one?
Disney Plus.
Netflix.
I already saw it.
Number 2 is Disney Plus.
No.
Yep.
And number 1 is Netflix.
No.
My number
You guys-
one pick.
Yay, Netflix!
Where are you going to get
Never
all of
know.
your Marvel content? You're not going to get that on Netflix.
Okay, but if you're
I
not a
have
Star Wars
Daredevil.
fan or a Marvel fan, do you really need to get Disney Plus?
Not even just Marvel, all right? I mean, have
Like,
you guys not seen like Big Shots yet?
No,
I
Okay,
haven't.
but I will say Mighty
High School
Ducks is
Musical?
fantastic.
Mighty Ducks
Watched
is
one
amazing.
episode.
It was so good.
It's
High School
such-
Musical, the
it's
musical, the
so
series?
good. Yes.
It's so good.
Okay, so
Season
What was
2
it?
just started, and it's
It
starting
did.
off all right.
what was everybody's number one? Steph,
Netflix.
Collin,
Disney Plus.
Disney Plus.
Disney Plus.
Netflix.
Mine was HBO.
Oh, so that's why it got such a high rating.
What? Yours? Really?
Yeah, because of
Is
the
it just
DC.
because of the Snyder Cut?
Because of the DC.
No, because
And
of the
mine was
DC
mostly because of
animated.
Marvel.
Animated verse.
So-
Okay.
Universe.
But
Yeah, I
here
can see that with you.
we have to remember though, Disney, even though Disney Plus got second, it's still in the top.
It
Yeah,
is.
but
So we can still watch those shows.
It's the
Logic-
Chloe of our season.
oh shoot.
Oh,
No, because
you
I didn't
guys.
like Chloe.
Oh, Chloe. Chloe was fun. I wasn't a huge fan of the season 2 cast though.
We're talking about The Circle for those
I
who
don't want to
know.
talk about my thoughts because I don't want people to get mad
We
at
could
me.
be here all night talking about The Circle. We should have just had a panel called The Circle.
Probably.
No one but us 3 and Jason would want to watch.
Do you think if we invited Shuby that he would come on?
Oh my gosh. Of course
would be a-
Shuby
Or
would.
Joey? Or do you think
Joey's the
Joey's too
best.
big? Is Joey too
Joey's
big
too big.
now?
Joey's too big.
Joey's too big now.
He's too big for himself. He's on some matchmaking show now.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I love Joey though.
Joey is amazing.
He grew
I-
on me. I feel like they tried to make Chloe that this season.
Careful, careful. No spoilers about season 2.
No, this is all about spoilers.
No, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Jason hasn't seen season 2 yet.
Well,
Anyways,
He hasn't binge watched it yet.
No.
you guys,
He
We-
needs Netflix.
we still have a lot more things coming in the next few days. Tomorrow night we're having multiplane and oh gosh, I should know the other one.
Mandalorian.
Mandalorian. Oh, of course, it's a Star Wars one that I.
You didn't say Star
Can
Trek.
I wait before we close? Can I ask what show everyone is going to go watch now once they're off this panel? Because I know we're all going to go put on a TV show.
So I reserve a Supernatural during the day at work because it can get really scary. So I like to have a distraction, and I like having it on in the background. It's easier for me to binge. But I'm currently watching Suits during non-work hours.
yes.
Good
And
choice.
It actually turns out I've seen the first 3 seasons because
Oh,
3 years
seriously?
ago, me and my husband actually binge watched it.
Oh,
And I was like, this
Oh.
feels really familiar. And
oh, that's so
my
funny.
husband like learns over. He's like, well, that's because we've watched the first 3 seasons. And I was like, that makes so much sense.
Yes.
We
I'm-
watched the last episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier last night.
Oh,
Oh,
so good.
That was some, I can't swear. That was some good stuff.
Right?
Oh my gosh, thank goodness you said that.
And I think, I mean, since we're done watching that, we'll probably go watch YouTube.
No, you'll go watch WandaVision.
No, that's probably not going to happen.
You guys haven't seen WandaVision yet?
Do I really have a desire to see WandaVision?
Yes.
Do
No.
you really want to miss out on key
Because-
plots of the storyline when
I was
these big
told
movies
today,
are coming
I
out?
was
Because
told today that I can go and just watch the last episode and I'll be fine.
I can't
Who said
stand
that?
the age
Who
difference
said that?
between
That is
Vision and
false.
Scarlet Witch.
I will kill them. I mean,
It's
just
just a
kidding, I
stupid
won't.
trope that they need to stop
Oh
doing.
my.
What?
They're like
what
20 years apart in real life. I hate
What
that.
show, Colin? What show are you going to go watch after this?
Well, probably pick up whatever my son's breaking. I don't know. I've actually gotten to the point where I've kind of finished all the things that I've been watching. If there's
Do you
a
need
new
some
recommendations?
recommendations?
I do need some recommendations. I think
Ooh,
I've got a new
Zoe's-
episode
have
of A
you
Million
watched-
Little Things tonight.
Yes.
but
Oh,
or have
A
you
Million
watched
Little Things is
Zoe's
good.
Extraordinary Playlist?
I have not seen that.
That's- should watch
You
that.
would love that. You
Yeah.
would love that.
Okay.
Does your son watch Bluey?
You mean Blue's Clues?
No, Bluey.
Oh,
No.
you're a Disney Plus person.
Lane's even seen WandaVision, guys.
That means nothing to me.
Yes,
I'm happy if Lane is happy.
Oh my goodness.
She hasn't even seen season 2 of Mandalorian. Come on.
We haven't finished
therefore
season
she's
2 of
watched.
Mandalorian.
Anyways, Bluey is the most brilliant kids show on Disney Plus, and everybody should watch it.
Well,
I'll have to check it out then.
I'm not
It's the
going to
most
go
perfect
watch
show.
Bluey.
We are
but
excited. We're literally excited for season 2 to drop on Disney Plus.
That's really
Aria
cute.
is too, but Blake and I are.
We're more excited.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes
I'm
sense
still
because you
waiting
guys have
for-
kids.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for a new season of Miraculous.
Is that a kids show?
Yeah, it's a Netflix series.
That makes
Blake's-
sense.
We've watched that.
Yeah,
Ladybug
Blake
Girl.
watches it. Ladybug
it
Girl.
is Ladybug
And
Girl.
Cat
or like
Noir.
Cat Noir.
Yeah.
Okay, that is actually familiar. I
Yeah,
just
that
didn't know
show-
what the show was
Anime.
called.
It's
That show's
actually
legit.
really good. Like I the first couple episodes I was like, what is he watching? And then I was like, okay, this is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
I would
it's
like
fun.
to. This is not a kids show, but if you really liked Legion, if you have Netflix, you should go watch the OA.
The
It
OA.
is really good. It has this cult following that's just bonkers. So don't go on Reddit until after you've watched the entire 2 seasons.
All right.
Because
Marlee,
Netflix
what are-
canceled it.
What are
Yeah,
you watching?
I was going to say, can I say what
Sorry.
I'm watching?
No,
I'm just kidding. You're fine.
we don't want to know.
Colin,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Did Marlee just mute herself so that she could start
I
cussing?
did not. Rude. No, I was going to say, Colin, how dare you? I just gave you an excellent recommendation for a show, so that's
You
rude.
did.
Oh, wait.
I'm gonna go watch Prodigal Son.
Oh,
Yes!
It's really good. I'm on like episode like 5 or 6, and like it's a crazy show. It reminds me a lot of Mindhunter, and I really
Yeah.
like Mindhunter. But it's definitely one that I have to go like watch something like light and happy, like Schitt's
Mhm.
Creek or something, and before I go to bed
Yep.
because it's kind of dark, but it's really good.
And
Anyways,
what is
speaking
Prodigal
of-
Son?
It's really good.
It's about a guy who
He is the
So-
son of a serial killer.
Yes.
He's
Guys,
a
I have to
profiler
announce
for
the
the
winner of the
NYPD.
raffle.
there's no one after us. It's fine.
And the
Yeah,
dad
people are
is
watching
Michael
this.
Sheen.
It'll be okay.
So
Yeah, and
I
the
do
main
like
the
Michael
main
Sheen.
character is Tom Paine.
Jesus.
Oh, I love him. Yeah, he played Jesus in The Walking Dead.
That's-
Such a good character,
that's
which makes
fun.
sense why he dies, and that makes me so sad now.
That was on Amazon Prime. Good Omens.
Dude, Good Omens was so good.
I need to watch that one still,
Well,
especially
watch
after
that.
watching Staged. I think I need to go
Yeah,
watch
watched
Good
that on
Omens.
a whim, and then I think we binged it in 2 or 3 days because it was
Oh, yeah.
so good.
It is fantastic.
Yeah.
Hey,
Anyways.
more people donated.
What?
Yay!
We're at $730.
But
Yay!
speaking of Schitt's Creek, the panel or the prize for this panel is Schitt's Creek related. So Stephanie, are you ready to announce that, or should we talk some more about TV?
We can talk about how much we love Schitt's Creek. It's
I love Poops
Oh,
Creek.
I love
my
Schitt's
gosh.
Creek.
Funny
Okay.
story.
Poops Creek is my
It's
best
not
creek.
swearing saying it. It's
So-
the name
Yeah,
of the town.
Yeah, but if I say it, then my
Oh,
son is going to hear
oh,
it, and he's going to be
fine.
like,
That's fair. That's fair. He is literally behind you.
yeah.
I was on another podcast a couple of months ago where I tend to take people on TV show tangents with like unintentionally. It just happens, and that was one of the tangents we went on was Schitt's Creek because of the brilliance of the writing on that show is so good, and the character arcs and the progression is flawless. Go watch it.
I have to say, that's probably the quickest, or not quickest show, but like the fastest binge I've ever done on a show. Like every second that I had free, I was like, all right, it's time to watch this again.
You're lucky that you got to just straight binge to like season 5 because we had to wait so long for the final season to come out.
My.
the final season.
It's awful.
It is one of those shows though, that takes you a while to get into it, and then you're like obsessed with it. You go from like 0 to 100 pretty quickly.
I
usually.
didn't realize that was a thing for a lot of people because when I started watching, I was like into it immediately. But then I started talking to other people, and they're like, "Oh, it's kind of like Parks and Rec or The Office, where you have to get past like the first couple episodes." And I'm like, "You do?" And it turns out that's actually a common thing.
Yeah, it is. Definitely. You have to get used to the humor.
Yeah, I think it's because it was my type of humor that I was like ready to go.
Yeah.
So good.
Are you ready, Steph?
Are we ready? Are we ready?
Are you ready?
I've been ready.
Let's do this.
Been ready. Our winner today is going to be Ray Reynolds.
Congratulations!
Yes, he's gonna be on our Battle of the Geeks on Saturday. So,
Yay,
Oh man, I'm
Yes.
so nervously excited for that.
It's gonna be
someone
great.
donated on May 20th, which is tomorrow. I don't know how that happened.
Well,
Maybe they're in Australia right
well,
now.
and it was weird too because in the private chat where Marlee was like, "All right, let's get this going." It was 2 minutes ahead of me on like all of my devices, and I was like, so confused.
That's so weird.
So weird.
We're living
That
in the
is
future.
weird.
We don't even know it.
We're in
We didn't even talk
simulation.
about Avatar. Oh my gosh! And
Oh, and how
We
much
can
that
take a second,
blew
it's
and how
fine.
much that blew up last summer coming on
Yeah.
Netflix,
Yeah,
especially
that was
during the
huge.
pandemic. Like perfect timing.
Uh-huh.
everyone's looking for wholesome content because the world is falling down around you, which
Well,
is
and
why
now
I
you've
think-
got all the Nickelodeon content that's starting to flow in.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah, gosh.
Yeah.
I love Appa. We actually named one of our cars Appa.
Nice.
Yeah.
I have a
I
stuffed
love it.
Appa. And a Appa that holds a fake succulent.
I saw
I
that. It's so cute.
I have one of those too. It's on my shelf
Yeah,
right
you
there.
cutscenes girl
There he is.
each got one, right?
So cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are adorable.
So, what's everybody's favorite Nickelodeon show? And why is it Angry Beavers?
Oh my gosh, I hate Angry Beavers.
Because it's not Angry Beavers.
That's so cute.
I'd rather watch endless amounts of iCarly.
Oh,
I have
I would
actually
too.
Drake and
never
Josh.
really
I'd rather
seen-
watch Peppa Pig.
Yeah, Drake and Josh is really. Oh no, not Peppa Pig.
I
didn't
hate Peppa
grow up
Pig,
with
but I
no,
hate Angry Beavers
no.
more.
Uh,
Fairly Odd Parents for sure, or Hey Arnold.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yes!
good old
Yes!
Doug.
Jason.
I love you so much.
Oh, sorry, I clicked it at the same
No.
time.
Also, Lane looks like Lane likes Angry Beavers.
I
Angry
did not
Beavers
grow up
is
with
legit.
Nickelodeon, so I've never really watched any Nickelodeon shows
Cat Dog was
Avatar.
better than
except
Angry
Avatar.
Beavers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cat Dog.
It's Fader Zim. Oh my goodness.
Eh.
They need a. Do they have? Can you stream Nickelodeon shows anywhere? Are those
I
coming?
think
Is
you
that
can
coming to
on
Paramount?
They're
And on Amazon Prime.
Do you have to
No,
pay
you have to
extra
get a
though?
Nickelodeon add-on.
Yeah, but that's how you would stream it.
No, but I think it's on Paramount.
For free?
Oh,
Part of
well, with
Paramount.
the Paramount subscription, it sounds like.
well, and and a bunch of it's still just on Netflix too. Like Power Rangers. Power Rangers is all on Netflix still. They
Yeah,
removed
apparently you
it for a
like
little
that.
bit and then it came back. Yeah, I do like Power Rangers.
Has
Well.
Jet like Power Rangers?
He has not been introduced into it yet.
It's hard when you introduce your kids to something you really like and you're like, have expectations.
That's why
he
you just don't
he
have
doesn't
kids and
really like
You'll never
watching
feel
like.
you'll never feel disappointed.
Oh, Erica.
Oh, so sad.
Oh goodness. I know. I would be so
Humor,
sad if my
sorry.
kids hated Avatar.
Well, and you would think that like I got him this shirt, this Hulk shirt, and like I got him into like watching Lego Star Wars and things like that. But he's either found those all on his own through like clicking on random YouTube stuff, or pointing at the screen and saying, "I want that one," and I'm like,
All right.
"All right, let's go."
Aw.
I know Arya will sing the Superman theme song and Blake like sobs in the corner.
Oh.
Yeah, he does the little Spider-Man one.
Oh.
Every
That's it.
time I like
Spider-Man, Spider-Man.
hum the Superman theme song, for some reason it always goes into Indiana Jones theme song.
I do that too.
It flows so perfectly together. Sometimes I'm like, which one was I humming? I don't know. And Jason says he loves the first couple seasons of SpongeBob, and I'm about to disappoint everybody. I've never seen a full episode of SpongeBob.
I
That's
never
okay.
liked
It's just
SpongeBob.
okay.
I didn't like it at all.
SpongeBob is fantastic.
It was so annoying to me.
It was so annoying.
I watched like 5 minutes, and that's probably the most I've ever watched. And I was like,
Oh, Lane said a good one. Real Monsters. That was a good one too.
That was a great one.
Oh,
What's that?
So good. 90s cartoons, man. They were
I
the
haven't watched them
best.
many. My parents, we mostly just watched like Pixar and Disney. I don't think we really had cable or anything like that.
Did you guys see
It's John Williams.
It's my sister.
yes. There's that show that they're redoing. What was it? The Hidden Temple?
oh yes,
Except
I love
it's
that.
for
Isn't
adults.
it for grown-ups?
Yes.
Yeah, it's for adults.
So
Ooh,
cool.
It's
Children
so
wouldn't
cool.
appreciate it the same way.
I can't wait.
We went to Nickelodeon Studios as kids in Orlando, and we weren't like on the slime show. What is the slime show?
Oh, I
Figure
knew
it
about
out.
the slime show.
Was
I
it
forgot
Figured
what it's
Out?
called.
Figure It Out had slime.
I don't know. I just remember we got slimed, and we were so excited about it.
I got slimed
Yeah.
in California.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, that would have been cool.
They
And
actually
then-
showed Scarlett Johansson when she won. I think she won one of the awards or whatever for MTV awards that just happened. And I think it was somebody, I don't know, because she like was doing her acceptance like video like at home. And whoever she was with like mixed up
It was
that.
probably her husband.
I think it was her husband, yeah. Like mixed up that MTV and Nickelodeon are different. And so he slimed her on the camera as she was accepting her little MTV award. And she's like, why did you do that? And he's like, slime. And she's like, this isn't Nickelodeon. It was funny.
That's
That
awesome.
like just
So
happened a
adorable.
couple days ago.
I think Robert Downey Jr. also got slimed not too long ago. I remember seeing that.
Steph always tries to talk to me about shows that she watched that weren't on cable. Like, what the heck is Wishbone?
Oh, Wishbone.
I watched
Yeah,
Wishbone.
Wishbone's great.
I have no idea what she's
Well,
talking
like,
about.
He would
It
go
was
into
on
like
cable.
books. He would like jump into like different like stories, and then he
Yeah.
would like be a part of that like thing in history. It
You
was
know,
fun.
just your average talking dog.
That sounds like
they
the
did
opposite
on
of Inkheart.
Man in the Iron Mask,
Mhm.
and his twin brother was a real person, but he was a dog and it was supposed to be very normal. Like, but Wishbone was great. You also didn't watch Arthur.
Nope. I've never
I watched
Arthur.
a little bit of Arthur, and then what was it? It was like the dragons and otters.
PB&J Otter.
PB&J Otter. I
Oh
watched some
my
of that.
gosh, love that one.
And then there was
the
the
Rock, the
dragon
Magic
one.
Stone.
There was the dragon one. Kelsey,
Yes.
if you're still listening, you
The
know what
Dragon
I'm talking about. Yeah, there was a dragon one. If she's still listening,
Oh, no.
let's see. Dragon show.
We also
90s.
Dragon Quest.
No.
Was that what it was? I can't even remember.
let the weather.
It's
Dragon
Peppa.
Tales.
Dragon Tales. That's
Dragon
the one I was
Tales,
thinking.
Dragon Tales.
We
Dragon Tales
introduced-
is the one with
Dragon
the
Tales
two
is good.
the kids and they like
Yeah,
hold
with
the
the-
stone.
The scale.
Yeah, or the scale. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Does Jet say British words because of Peppa?
No.
Because Arya the other day was like, Dad, put it in the boot. And I was like, what are you talking about? And she's like,
Back
you
of the
know,
car.
the back of the car.
the boot.
The boot.
The boot of the car.
That's amazing.
We also introduced Arya to Out of the Box over the quarantine.
Out
Oh,
of the box.
out of box.
Out of the box.
And that is a wholesome AF TV show.
Oh, yeah.
True. Oh man, that was good.
I like that
So
one.
good. Oh, my
Hey,
God.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. There goes my sister. What about out of the box? Well,
Yes.
We're ahead of you.
we're like 20 seconds or something ahead of everybody.
You know, TV's one of those things that, like, as a kid, you're like, don't watch too much TV, and then you grow up and you watch all the TV. And you know what?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any shame about it. There's so
No.
much good content.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
yeah.
learn so much.
Yeah, it's
Like-
true. And there's not enough hours in the day, so you just like find ways to multitask.
Mhm.
Yeah, you put on a audiobook on your way to work. While you're working, you listen to podcasts. On your way home, the audiobook again. You get home, video games and TV.
I would like to
Great.
teach everybody something if they don't already know this. Do you guys know what the like Apple trope is?
Oh,
Uh-uh.
yeah, you told me,
Yeah. Okay.
so I
So
do know.
Lindsay turn away if you're listening because I'm going to talk about Knives Out.
I don't think she's listening.
Just in case, I have to put it out there. So there's a thing with Apple in their contracts with movies and other things that their devices are not allowed to be used if that person is a villain. They are not allowed to. So when you go and watch Knives Out, the only person to not be using an iPhone, spoiler alert, is Chris Evans' character because he is the villain. He is the only one that is using an Android phone. Same with like Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We can disclude Bucky because he's 106 years old and uses a flip phone. But Sharon Carter uses her Android phone. And so now every time I watch like a movie or TV show, I watch very carefully as to
what phone they
who
have.
has what phone, because then I can determine who the villain is.
Oh my goodness.
I'm curious. Is Bucky not on an iPhone because he's still in his healing journey?
Technically, yeah, I guess that could work because not only is he older and, sometimes technology averse, but that's true because of his past. He's been a villain. And so he's still tied to being a villain. So that is very possible. So they kind of did like an in-between. Use a flip phone, technically not an Android, technically not an iPhone. So that works.
Also, I literally watched the user count drop by 1 as soon as you said Lindsay, turn off.
Lindsay, I hope that was you. That would have been freaking hilarious. Because she hasn't seen Knives Out and they didn't want to spoil it.
Fantastic. I'm very excited for that.
Dude, that's a great looking cast that they've got.
It's going to be so good.
It's going to be so good. Is it going to come out in theaters?
Who knows?
I sure hope so.
Well, isn't Netflix doing that one?
Are they?
Wait, not Netflix. Who? I thought someone picked up Knives Out and that they were going to do it on their own.
Another big question. Who picked up the Red Rising TV show or movie?
Oh,
we just don't know.
There is one?
I could see it being either Amazon Prime or HBO. And that's the thing, too.
You're right, Marlee. It is Netflix.
Aha. But isn't there more than one HBO? Maybe, do you guys know? Because there's, HBO Max, but then there's just normal HBO, right? Aren't there two different things?
Like on cable?
No, on streaming.
I don't think so.
I think
HBO
all
had a ton of different
Max.
ones, and then they consolidated it all into HBO Max.
Yeah.
Did they finally consolidate it? Because I remember, especially back when
They're
three,
not money hungry like Disney.
me and Steph and Blake, we were rewatching Game of Thrones before the last season came out. This was obviously a couple of years ago, and I remember trying to find it, and there was which HBO is it? I don't know. There's 12 different ones.
Yeah, I remember that, and I think I think they finally recently consolidated everything. I think so.
Which is probably smart of them to do because that is confusing.
One company with 3 different streaming services.
Oh, silly H-Boobo.
H-Boobo.
I'm sorry.
Disney is still number 1 to me, but I get why Netflix won.
Because
it just has more.
One person voted for HBO.
Okay, so
at their
Blake,
top level.
if you only had the choice between Disney Plus and Netflix, what would you choose?
Between Disney Plus and Netflix?
Yeah.
Probably Netflix.
That makes sense.
Man.
Oddly enough, because I think it has better kid content.
Oh, okay.
I think I don't know. I think my kid watches that content more than Disney's content because the Disney Plus doesn't have any new Disney kids content. It's all our generations.
Yeah, and kids.
I don't know.
The kids these days, they don't really watch the old school Disney movies.
Arya, it's really weird. If it's not in 3D animation, Arya doesn't watch it.
Yeah, so I actually had a coworker whose kid they watched some of the old classics, and the daughter was like, "Why is everything so flat?"
Yeah. It wigs her
and
out.
I was like, I like had a crisis. I was like,
Yeah,
I didn't even think about that.
he was actually into like the old school Hulk and like X-Men series, which I thought was interesting. But anything else that you try to watch of that style, he won't watch.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, that's why I would pick Netflix, because I feel like it has a wider range of what my family would consume.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah, we watched the heck out of Number Blocks.
Okay.
This kid is like obsessed with Croods.
We need to have
He'll watch that thing like nonstop.
We haven't watched the second Croods movie yet.
I like that the people with kids are like the two people that are on top, and then there's me and Marlee who are just kind of like,
I have two cats.
Yeah, sure.
I got two kitties too.
They watch whatever I watch.
Huge.
If it has birds, Val's watching.
kids, like, it sounds horrible, but the TV is the best babysitter.
Yeah, you have to fold clothes. You have to make dinner.
Put
Yeah,
on.
It's the way to go.
It's educational.
Like we'll still,
Educational.
of course, make time to go like outside and stuff. But like,
What?
if I can get an hour of work done and put them in front of a TV, I'm 100% gonna do it. Like,
What's outside?
A, for sanity, B, also for sanity.
So yeah, when you can find kids content that you don't hate as a parent, it's definitely a plus.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Damn you, Peppa
Definitely.
Pig.
With all the babysitting I've done with my nieces and nephews, I've definitely seen a lot of TV shows that I'm like, what the flip is this? And why did they like it? And I would always try to get them like whenever I was babysitting, I'd be like, who wants to watch a Barbie movie or a Tinkerbell movie? Or just like, I was always trying to, I would be like, oh, that movie's not working right now. We have to watch this other one.
And the Tinkerbell movie on Netflix.
Oh, really? Maybe I'll watch them. I remember
love
watching those
those.
when I
They're so
did
cute.
babysitting.
I
was
don't
younger.
support harming children, but Caillou should die. And I think he's done. I think his show is done.
He's been canceled.
You think so? After his recent season that got released,
I hope so. Maybe I'm just wishful thinking.
I think it might be wishful
I've heard
thinking
he's the
because
worst.
I don't know. Every other parent that I talk to is all about Caillou, and I'm like, nope,
He's so
I don't need that.
so whiny and rude. I've seen one episode for some reason. I'm sure I was with a kid somewhere, and I was like, this is the worst thing I've ever seen.
Also, Peppa Pig, like some of the things that they say in that, I'm like, this is like maybe borderline racism sometimes.
And they're pigs, but they're like super fat phobic. And I'm
Yeah.
like, damn. But have you watched Ben and Holly?
Ben and Holly? No.
It's like the same voice actors, but it's so much better. Oh, roly
I'll
poly
take that
oly.
one up.
Roly poly.
Yeah, it's roly poly.
He's small and freaking round. And in the world of ups and downs, he's the
Okay,
smallest
well,
kid
I
around.
peace out. I could leave you guys and let you guys keep talking about movies, but
I could talk about TV shows for a long time.
I know. I'm like, we barely scratched the surface. I made this huge list.
It's after
I'm glad
9
you
o'clock, after dark time.
yeah.
Yay!
Now
Let's
we
talk
can
about
The Boys Without
Bridgerton.
Reserve.
Oh,
I
wait.
didn't really like Bridgerton. I'm sorry. I watched it because of the hype and how much everyone liked it, but I just was like,
I
like-
love me some
I
Bridgerton.
didn't like
I loved it. I thought it was
don't-
great.
I don't like it.
That's okay. That's why there's so much content, so that if you don't like something, you don't have to watch it.
And
But
you
I
can find
also-
something else.
But I also sometimes need to watch those things so that I can talk with Marlee and, Steph and stuff about it. Because they're like talking about this. I'm like, I want to be involved.
Well, I think it's good to like, especially if your friends love it
Try
so
new
much.
things.
Like, I think it's good to give it
Yep.
a shot. And if it's just not your cup of tea, then that's okay.
Like,
Don't be
I didn't
offended
like
by it,
but I'm
but
gonna
just, yeah.
still watch season 2. It's just what happened.
Shonda Rhimes, man, she's a wizard.
Ugh.
She is.
I guess I should finish watching Grey's Anatomy. Isn't that actually going to end?
Never.
I thought that
It's gonna end. It's
Next
gonna end next season.
that's
Next
what I
season's gonna be
thought.
its last.
Season 18.
Is it or is it 17?
They're in 17
It's a-
right now.
yeah.
So they're going to do 18 and then be
Is there a
done.
new episode tomorrow?
There's a new... Oh, yeah, I think so. Wait, I don't know if I'm quite caught up. I might be like 2 or 3 episodes behind.
Well,
I'm like
So my
2
Hulu says I have a new episode to watch, but I don't think it's the new.
oh my gosh, you guys! I haven't even talked about my favorite, one of my favorite shows right now.
What?
90 Day Fiance.
Oh my gosh.
So
Wait, what one? Which one?
90 Day Fiance.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Oh, it is so good. It's basically where these couples meet online, and they're usually from like other countries. So one's in the U.S. and one is in whatever country they're in, Russia, Korea, India, and basically it's about their journey to get the K-1 visa. And then when they get the K-1 visa, they come into the U.S. And they have 90 days to get married. And so it's about if they actually can stay together to actually get married or not. And the drama, let me tell you, is crazy.
Isn't it
I
a
watched the
TLC show or originated on TLC?
Yeah.
Thank you. I watched like
Yeah,
the
it's
commercial
TLC.
for it, and I was like,
My sister lately has been obsessed with, I think it's called Married at First Sight. Because she watched Love is Blind kind of the same time I did too, so it was really fun to like talk about that show with her. But she's been like loving Married at First Sight, and she just goes on and on about it. And I'm like, I might need to check this show out, or I'll just wait till Love is Blind season 2 comes out. I think this summer.
I'm not a huge reality TV show person.
I'm not
Circle is the
either.
only one that I've watched and enjoyed.
I watch very few reality ones.
I know, there's just...
And Too Hot to Handle.
Oh
and
my
RuPaul's
gosh.
Drag Race.
That's because
And-
sometimes we just need a little trash in our
America's
lives,
Next Top
okay?
Model. I've watched all of America's Next Top Model.
Oh my gosh.
fine.
TMNT.
Dude, the way that they just like traumatize the girls with cutting their hair, I was just like, guys, it grows back. You're fine. Good
But they've
heavens.
never had short hair before.
Neither had I.
I know, it's dumb.
It's so dumb. That's like the only part because I'm just like, I have short hair. Like, what's wrong with short
Drama.
hair? But
Oh,
it's great.
goodness.
I
All right,
really have
y'all.
to go though.
Yeah, it's time.
It's bedtime.
It's time to watch more TV. Yay!
It is. I've got an hour till
Thanks
bedtime.
everyone, and thanks for everyone who made it this far.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
No, seriously.
Come
Thank
back tomorrow.
you.
Good night, guys.
See you later. Bon
Bye.
voyage.